It is my great honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Ternura Rojas from Gijón, Spain, and I'm sure I'm butchering the language, and I apologize.
Don't
Sorry, I
worry.
just clicked you off. There we go. Um, and we're so fortunate to have her here. For everybody out there in our world, it is 2 a.m. in Spain, so Dr. Rojas is here giving us the benefit of her time very, very late at night. So welcome, and we appreciate having you here. I know we're being shadowcast on several channels in the U.S., and I suspect, hopefully one or two over in London, and just all around. So with luck, we'll have a good viewership. And I'm sorry for those of you who can see the bar. Nara, and I want to introduce you a little bit by saying that Donald set this interview up, and Clearly and Donald have been helping negotiate this and put us in contact. Dr. Rojas and I have had a chance to email and speak, a good bit. And she's a delightful woman, and we're going to learn a lot from her. Dr.
Thank you very
Rojas
much.
is part of the Spanish movement called Los Indignados, which comes, English translation is the indignates, which means they're suffering indignation about the social and economic policies that are taking place not only in their country, but in the whole European continent as well as the U.S. continent. Dr. Rojas has been involved with Los Indignados since 15 May 2011, if not before. And she is an active organizer and active participant in the movement. So we're going to get the benefit of her experience and stories tonight. And we're going to try to keep questions focused. And shoot, sorry about that, guys. I'm clicking that doggone tool. And hold your questions, and then we'll put them in bold, and the moderators are going to try to corral that for us. And our facilitator tonight is Clearly. Thank you, Clearly. She'll be putting up links as Dr. Rojas talks, and Dawn's going to be moderating. So there we go. We're off and running. So Ternura, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what kind of work you do, and maybe give us your geographical location so people are able to spot you on a map.
Well, thank you. I've been living in Spain for the past 12 years. I come from a third world country, and when I moved to Europe, I thought that I was going to see electric cars, and I was amazed they didn't find them. And as things got worse and worse and worse, May 15, but it started actually before. The rest, my name, you have it. My Twitter account is the same as my nick here, so you can find me. And I'm 36. I am married, and I want to tell you many things. So let's start, please.
Okay. So what brought you originally to the Spanish Revolution, or, we can substitute, our words, the Occupy movement, whichever you're comfortable with?
I didn't have too much to do with politics actually before that, but one day I saw this YouTube experiment of interviewing presidents, and one guy, a really young guy from Valencia, asked the president of Spain at the time, José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero, asking, why do people in Iceland can do and make decisions and we cannot? And he says, well, it's because they live in a direct democracy scheme and we have a representative democracy. So here in Spain, and he had that face, the face that you're never going to get to do whatever you want because the democracy in this country sucks, but you don't know that. And I said, okay, enough, that's it. And that was like 2 weeks before the 15th of May, and I came across with the guys who were organizing the rally. So I started promoting it and through the social networks. And that's why, well, the rest story, because people started camping, and what do? You can't camp, because I couldn't, I was working, but I would support the guys in many other ways, and I got involved in the camping in my city, in the campsite in Gijón, and one thing led to another. So
Right.
that's pretty much it.
And so your entry point was based on watching the YouTube and the attitude of the senior politicians there who were just kind of dismissive, and you said, well, this doesn't make any sense, and how can you go about changing it? And I don't know if the people, we gave them some reading materials, but I don't know how far along they got with it. But in Spain, to my knowledge, the movement just burst relatively overnight, spreading from Madrid to cities all over the country had encampments. Is that correct?
Yes, because that Sunday, the 15th of May, we went out on a rally, and these guys stayed in the main square. Well, not the main square, near the main square of Madrid, the capital, and they decided that they were going to spend the night. So everybody was following them through Facebook and Twitter, and the day after, the whole country was, like right now this is happening in the US, because we are all trying to see what's going on in Wall Street and how many sleep every night, and if they get to finish, the night, get to are not evicted.
Right.
So we did that, and that was on Monday. On Tuesday morning, we found out that they managed to stay there, and everybody decided that we were on September 17 in Zuccotti Park. And afterwards, on October 15, it happened in London as well. So it's like, oh, God, we are so connected because we are all feeling the same at different points of the year, whatever, but we all want the same. It's really magic.
Right. It's just a huge communal experiment also, and I think we're really fortunate to be participating in that.
Yes, totally.
Can I check in with the chatters just for a minute? Are you guys seeing us in video? Because my Procaster stuff just went a little bit wonky. If I can get a thumbs up before we get too far
I see
downstream.
myself in the video.
I see you in
Actually,
the video, but
yes.
I don't know what these guys. Okay, X says
Great
we're
guy.
good. Thank you, X.
Okay.
So spread all over Spain, and what was the community and public reactions to your encampments and occupations?
Well, they were curious, surprised, and they wanted to know what kind of super women and men would be able to do something like this, because nobody in the for, what do they want? And well, we could do a really huge study about this, but it's about change management. When you come across with something and you try to understand it, you compare it to things that are similar to your past, and if they don't match to what your experience in your mind is, you have a conflict and you go away. Or if they match to your past experiences, you join the movement. It's not that simple, but it's more or less like that.
Yeah, well, it's pretty
A
good.
community
Would you say that the overall that the public has been mostly understanding and supportive, or is it divided a little bit?
I wouldn't say mostly,
Uh-huh.
because it's been almost 1 year. We should have a different country right now if they did what they had to do. The public sees us in Spain like a political party.
Okay.
My acquaintances, well, people that I know around me, they come to me and ask me for things. Ternura you and the Indignados have to do this for us and make sure that we get enough of this. It's like they treat us like they treat or they regard any political party, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you money and support, and you are going to do things for me while I work and I live my life and I go to the stadium and I watch the TV. You don't watch the TV, you don't have a life because you are in the movement. It's your duty to do things for me. And the system doesn't work like that.
Oh, so yeah, because they're so conditioned to representative democracy instead of
They are so
participatory
used to it.
that they
Yes.
have an expectation, like they agree with you, but they want you to do the work so they can
Yeah.
continue to do. Okay, I understand that.
Uh,
I suspect
Interesting,
that's
isn't it?
fairly widespread because in our country, we have our occupiers on the ground. A lot of people going to work, a lot of people doing things, and even myself as an example, this is how I participate. But I feel like, oh, I should do more, So I understand, and getting that message out and getting people to be engaged and active is a real challenge. In your experience, how has been I guess it's police and possibly, has there been any military response in Spain, or is it public police? And what has that been like?
Um, well, the police had problems before. You know, they are really. Mm, the police here works under the military rules. They can't complain.
Hmm.
Imagine that. If they complain, they are judged. They go to military trial.
Okay.
And they didn't have enough money for buying bullets. They have to buy their own life jackets
Uh-huh.
or whatever it's called, bulletproof.
Bulletproof vest?
It
Yes, yeah.
Yes. So they are violent with us. They hit us and everything, but they are like us because within the movement there is also violent people. We can't deny that. And the recent laws that are going to change in Spain that are going to criminalize what I do, what we are doing here, you and me,
Right,
Mark, it's
right.
going to be an offense in 2 months or 3. It's, coming from up, it's not the fault of the policemen and women. They are just following orders.
Right. Just
And
following
they are
orders.
investigating us
Hmm.
and our friends in Facebook and everything. I'm going to lose a lot of friends in Facebook because they just found out that they are following my profile. But they have been following my profile since day 2.
Right. So, and
This
for
is not
those of
true.
you who are not quite clear on what she's saying about that, there's some legislation being passed in Spain that is going to make organizing via digital media for protests and actions a criminal act. Did I get it pretty correct?
Well, yeah, for protests, yeah, they are going to criminalize, for example, I don't know, vandalic, if you paint walls or you break windows, but they are also going to criminalize, well, they said a great deal of active, passive resistance
Right. They're
or
doing the same
pacific,
thing in Chicago in the U.S. this
yes,
week. It's a big deal. So I want
yes,
to
I saw it.
open up the floor for some questions so far now from the chatters, if that's okay, so we don't get too far along. Has
Yes, please.
anybody got a question they'd like to ask Ternura?
I'm reading the chat, so you. Why are the Spanish police allowed to hide their badge numbers? They are not allowed. They should not. They do it because it's a provocation. That's all. Because at the end you find who did what
Right, right.
under the investigation. Next one. Why are the Spanish police allowed? Yes.
Oh, that he
Another
posted
one?
that one twice.
Yes, he posted twice. Don't worry. Commonly known as UV.
Yep. Are there any more questions thus far? We've kind of covered how she got involved and what the
Actually,
public.
police are allowed. Police have to show the badge numbers, but riot police don't have to. And
Right.
riot police is the one that comes really hard to us.
Okay.
Did you participate in the student strike? I wish, but I'm too old to be a student. I just promoted it in the blog and Facebook. That's it. Thank you. Or do I
Police were in
information?
riot
Thank
gear
you.
all the time. Did that seem to be the case in Barcelona?
It seems the police were in. Um, you're going to see it harder, because now they hired 10,000 euros of tear gas, for example, for this year. So it's going to be more, even harder. They are going to strike.
Barb would like to know what field you are,
Well,
what your doctorate's
yes,
in?
food science and technology.
Food science and technology. I should have
So
said that
yes,
during
I'm
the
aware of.
introduction.
Yes, you should have said.
Yep. Any more questions, or you want me to continue on, chatters? The police were behaving. Well, the police always behave badly.
Yes. Well, we have to admit also that people who join the police, they match the profile of bullies, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they don't get enough discipline. So we could go hours and hours talking about that problem.
Right. Tarp wants to know if they use the people's mic in Spain. You know, the mic check, the people's mic like they do in the States?
No, we use
The
this awful
megaphone.
thing that amplifies the voice,
Yeah, the
the megaphone.
megaphone.
So
Right.
we don't do people's mic, so we don't do mic check, and they see it. They don't understand how the people's mic work, and why do we do mic check in mumble meetings?
Right.
I had to explain that a lot to them.
And Riley is asking how Spain's economy is, and that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about, so we can use that as a departure now. As I understand it, the unemployment is very high in Spain. The unemployment of people under 30 is at about 50%. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. But you have to take into account that one province in Spain, Andalusia, has more official cars, official vehicles, than the whole U.S.
Really?
So the economy is not bad. And then last week they cut 10 billion, more or less 10 billion euros of health services, but they are going to bail 50 billion euros to banks in 2 weeks. So the economy is not bad at all. We are a rich country, and when they cut 10,000 euros from us, from one thing from us, they give it every month to the church, to the Catholic Church. So I don't see that the economy is bad. It's just that the money is not going where it should go.
It's a wealth distribution problem.
Yeah, the wealth distribution problem, as always.
Are the Indignados more popular in and around Barcelona than the left-wing parts of Spain, or is it a fairly cohesive unit countrywide?
I wouldn't say cohesive. It's more cohesive than it was before, but everybody does what they want to do, and they decide because there are really strong cultural differences.
Uh-huh.
So we are independent. It's like independent movements within the movement.
Okay, I understand. What is the impression of the Spanish movement of the American movement?
Well, they almost don't know anything about it.
Right. Are you not getting any media coverage from the States there to share?
That's enough. Well, from the TV, but not there is not enough contact between indignados, real indignados, because we are busy working for a
Right.
movement, and real indignados from Occupy. So whatever we know about you is the blog of Occupy Wall Street, and whatever you may know about us must be from sources like that. So I wouldn't like to say that we have an image because there isn't any real contact here. We have to, get closer, guys, please.
Right. I want somebody to put that into text, that we need to get closer. We need to have, more interaction. Susie's asking, and I guess we can start talking a little bit about communications systems and methods, because I know you're big on Mumble. But Suze asked the question, are there any live streamers in Spain that do
Yes,
what we do?
we have a project that is called the People's Witness. People's Witness is a combination between 3G, can it be?
Yeah.
3G technology,
Right.
and along with streaming. So you use BAM user, you connect the 3 accounts through BAM user,
Right.
and this one connects to one live streamer in Ustream or Livestream.
Right.
And then you will have 3 channels in one screen going from, you can put 3 cities rallying or 3 parts of the same rally in the same city. And we are based on the strategy of filming is the one that you shared in How to Film a Revolution. We like that. We love it.
Right. And do you see people getting more and more involved in this streaming?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, because everybody has to, and we were talking about that. Even though you don't have a 3G, you have to join the team and pretend that you are streaming, because policemen, when you are many, they are more afraid of hitting you. So in order to protect others, you have to fake that you are filming.
Oh, that's a
And then you
smart
protect
idea.
the filming team. Yes. It's not like only 3 filming, but 10 around, like pretending.
Right. That's a brilliant idea. And do you actively participate in developing tactics and methodologies for actions?
No, I am in the other part, in the coaching and dealing with fear
Uh-huh.
and emotions and non-violence.
Okay, so
And
you guys
well,
have
we
a support
evaluate.
system for that kind of thing too for your occupiers.
I wouldn't say we have it. We offer it.
Yeah. Okay.
And most people is so sad, and they feel so much anger about what is going on that it's difficult for them to open to this advice.
Right. Well, that's understandable because people, feel defeated and, discouraged, and
Yes.
it's hard to build them back up and remind them that, they do have choices and they do have options, and if we work together, we can make some of that stuff happen. I'd like you to speak a little bit about the way you're organizing, interacting, and living. It's one of the statements in the Los Indignados off the Take the Square document. And so could you speak to that a little bit? So we all know what the problems and the challenges are. So what are some of the solutions you guys are working on?
Really important things that we are addressing is, for example, the debt that countries have to third countries, because that's something that we have in common. Poor countries owe rich countries, and rich countries owe money to richer countries. So that's something that is getting, being spread, and we are creating a network about that. Another thing is creating cooperatives, and in Germany they are talking about creating a bank. I don't know if that's going to work, but cooperatives are, you start with your own work and you share it with people that share their work with you. And alternative currencies in some places. Also people who are reclaiming abandoned towns and villages. There are many places that are empty and have a lot of place to produce food and live well without the need of the system. For example, we could talk about more things, urban farming and all that stuff.
Right. And those are actions that are starting in small places and small scales and expanding out as people learn the skill sets and the sharing. So you're building a foundation and spreading out, hopefully.
Yes. And actually, what I found really interesting is that in 2 generations, we lost all that knowledge.
Right.
It's incredible.
Right.
Because the people don't know how to make soap out of wasted oil, and it's crazy. We have to learn that over, and how to fix our shoes
How to be
and a
self-sufficient.
TV. Yes, we depend so much of this system, and we lost it in so fast, so quickly.
Right. Well,
we have to start.
We've become so dependent on systems and institutions that are all failing us every day. So we have to do it ourselves. We have to learn it and teach it to each other and do it ourselves. And it's so inspiring to hear that you guys are doing it. There's a lot of us here that think that you're a year or so further down the road than we are about figuring some of this stuff out. So it's really great to be able to hear you speak to it. Let's talk a little bit about the opportunities you're finding to reclaim public spaces. It's a big challenge in the United States. We're not being really successful with it. But how are the Spanish people able to attempt to do that, to reclaim public spaces?
Okay, there is something here. Culturally, only in Barcelona and only in the city is socially accepted to reclaim public spaces. The rest of the country is struggling against not the government of or the owners of the places, not that. It's struggling against the way other people, their brothers and sisters, consider this action as an awful thing. Really, really shameful.
Right.
So you are having problems, we are also having problems. We have to do it because there are many buildings that belong to the state that we can reuse, and letting alone the ones that belong to the banks that are also ours.
Right.
Because we pay the banks. We've been bailing the banks all these years. So everything that the banks right now own is ours. We should be nationalizing. Well, we don't need to nationalize them because it's only a matter of putting it in the paper because the money is ours. It's already there.
Right. That's true. It all belongs to us, so we should be able to use it.
Yes. For many people, it should sound as a communist statement, but think about it. I'm not talking here about left or right or whatever. If you gave so much money to a bank, whose property is it? Just think about it.
Right. It's a common sense thing. Do we have any questions that the chatters would like to ask? We'll take a pause for a minute for questions. How's the Indignados given up on the traditional political processes? Do you regret losing the government to right-wingers?
We knew this all was going to happen, and actually we liked the way it went because the right is, strangling people, and those are going to come running to our arms. Like like an abandoned bride.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. They help.
Right. To have the right wingers in power just provides more contrast, so people will be more supportive.
Yes.
Clearly is asking, is the internet monitored in Spain?
Yes.
Yes.
We have been monitored since day 2, and today the news came out to the air that there is a special team of special agents that are specialized in our special situation, so we are all special.
We're all special. Well,
yes, I feel so special.
Yeah, so that's a
And
good
what I
time.
do is a crime.
It's a good
Yes.
time now for me to say hello to the Spanish special agents that are watching. Thank you for watching and thank you for your
Yes.
support. And to the National Security Agency in the United States and the FBI and the New York Police Department and everybody else that's watching. You know, you may not believe it, but we're all one and we're not against you guys. We just have to work together. So I hope you enjoy the show. So that's what I have to say about that. Because we're pretty certain everybody's watching too.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about your assembly processes? You know, in the U.S. we have the General Assemblies, and I know in reading you guys have a fairly active assembly process.
Fairly, yes. It's been well. We've been here for more months, and we try to keep everything by consensus, but there are assemblies that need to vote. And when assemblies have to do something with other assemblies, they have a bigger an inter-assembly or a coordinator assembly that does the work for them in the decision making. But everything goes to the assemblies anyway. No bigger or I'm not talking about levels of organization, but it's everything up to the assemblies themselves anyway. And that has to go also to the individuals of those assemblies. They have the power. We try to do that. There are many schemes that have been tested. Actually, the Federated General Assembly, the FGA, asked us to translate the way the things work in Madrid. It's the document, I personally translated it, and the document is pasted in the wiki.
Okay.
So you can check it there.
And is that the organizing document that's referred to in the Take the Square story, the Los Indignados story? I saw there's an organizing document.
No, not
okay, that's something.
no,
different.
not yet. We have many. Yes, we have developed a lot of handbooks. When the marches were going to Brussels, we were required to write for them how we used to work. And the good thing, it's really interesting that they were using that and improving it and bringing it back to us in a really more improved way. Yep. It was amazing.
Do you find that doing the handbooks is a good way to help establish consistency and sharing information?
Sharing information, yes, but consistency, we are not going to get consistency ever, as long as we grow.
Okay.
Because I hope we, come across new situations, and we have to change all the, the whole system again to adapt to those situations. And I hope that goes to lead us to the point to train our minds, because otherwise we're going to become like the people in Korea who took over, and they started killing teachers and doctors because they knew something and we didn't want them to know things. Imagine that. That is not a revolution.
No.
So we have to train our brains to be able to be in a constant revolution all the time. So this document helped us to make this assembly last week.
Right.
But that one is last week's assembly. It's not going to be the same next week. It's going to be better, different, it's going to be whatever, but shouldn't be a copy of last week's assembly, because other people is going to come with other problems. We have to be more flexible on that. If you understand me.
I understand it. It makes perfect sense, and which is good for me to hear, because I'm working on something right now, and one of my things is, we need to be consistent. But if you enforce consistency, then you lose the flexibility. So it's better to be an open thinker and adjust
Yes.
and adapt to the situation.
Yes,
Flexibility.
well, you learned last week. You learned, and you had the document that yeah, that is what you learned in that document. But you shouldn't make it as a template. Use it as a template for next week's whatever you do. It's only a guide,
Right.
and next week is going to be a really magic and different thing, thanks to new people that is going to come and share new things with us. I hope.
That's so inspiring to hear, and it makes me optimistic, and I feel uplifted. Thank you for saying that. Do you
Thanks to you.
do you find your assemblies are fairly reasonably effective in making decisions and moving forward on issues?
The assemblies can be. The problem is the people, because we are not ready yet.
Right.
And as long as the people is not ready to take responsibility of their own decisions, actions, and plans, assemblies are not going to do anything. I go to the, we decide something, and it's an assembly, but only 3 people would do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 15 people of the assembly are going to watch.
Oh.
And probably are going to come afterwards and say, why did you do this? And why was the outcome like this? We didn't expect this from you. That is a problem. So we have to dig a little bit deeper in this.
So you have the same problem everybody else has. You'll have a group of 20 people.
I've been in your assembly, pig.
And 3 people to do the stuff, and the other 17 just doing, yeah. And then so you have to go little bits at a time, right? Is that right? And it's
Yeah.
not because they're bad people. It's just that's the way it works.
Yeah, it works like that. So we have to learn a lot. Yeah.
I'm learning a lot of patience working with OWS.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
So I'm turning my page. You have commissions and working groups. Let's talk about the use of digital and social networking tools. And because I have been in contact with some people from Spain, and it seems to me like you have a more sophisticated use of the tools that are available to everybody. So tell us a little bit about what you use and how you use them.
No, not at all. That could be your impression. But I see that there is more people in the US using tools, and you are developing tools for us now. The problem everywhere is that there are 2 movements. One movement in the street and one movement here in the internet. Some people, like, I don't know, probably it was me like 3 weeks ago, but not anymore, would be the link between the street and the internet. But
okay, well,
it's
hold
not
on.
enough.
Let's back up, because that's a good point. You said until 3 weeks ago you were the link between the streets and the internet. So what changed?
That all my time has to be dedicated to, because as we approach May, I am at the international level working.
Right.
So what I do is to report by email
Mm-hmm.
to my assembly.
Okay.
If my assembly wouldn't have an email, I wouldn't have any means to contact them. Well, maybe by phone.
Right. Okay,
So
well that makes
people
sense, because the job is getting bigger and the scope is getting bigger, and you can't be everywhere at one time. So you have to do the parts you can do. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
But we have to be really careful. We have to bear in mind that here at this level, you and me here are doing something that most people cannot do.
Right.
Only 1/3 of the population of the world works in internet. So
right.
what about the rest? We are not the 99% here. That's it. We are the 33%.
Right. And so that's a good point because we talk about that. How do we bring those two elements together more effectively? Or we don't know yet. We
And
just got to keep trying to figure it out.
yes, trying to figure out because there is people that are afraid. Let's see, for example, people who's not who has a low level of education feels threatened by people like me because I speak languages. I've been told that I sometimes I have mm, some people have told me that the fact that I traveled around is like I've been taking that opportunity out of them. They feel like that, people within the movement. So how do I bring them here to talk to you if they don't speak English, if
Right.
they haven't traveled? All they know is the town around them, and they don't have the tools to deal with you or with me, and
Right.
they feel threatened.
Right.
So the approach has to be, we have to go backwards and backwards with them, and they belong to the movement. They are the reason why we are here.
Right. Well, that makes sense, and that's a good framework. And I want to pause right here and let's see if we can get a couple of questions. I've been seeing them go by. Don, you want to ask me your question
Yes,
again?
the one from Dawn. Yes, Dawn. Look, I'm going to tell you. Yes, I will go to that after. I'm a girl, and I have been a terrorist all my life because I had to fight against repression and tyranny inside my own house with my own blood. So I have always been a terrorist. Within the movement, I have run over people because that's the way I am. I am proactive. So if the government thinks that I am a terrorist because I do what I've been doing all my life, which is, not fighting against, I just want to raise awareness about things, so be it. I am so. If this is being a terrorist, I'm not going to become a terrorist. I've been a terrorist all my life, and they have to know that. We are terrorists. That's it.
Yeah. I, you just make my heart swell. It's wonderful. What a great way of putting that. I got tears in my eyes.
Come on, Mark. Because you are the same. You're true.
Yeah.
I know it. I know it.
Um.
Hey,
So
what do you want first? Is this a future from Mambo? Discuss a non-monetary future removing currency. Oh, no, currency. Well, hopefully, but it would take a lot of generations to get there.
yeah. Um.
Non-monetary future. We need a lot. We need our grandchildren probably could do that. Not before that. And somebody wanted me to talk about May, if that's okay with you.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. I was going to hold it for later, but we can do it now. Definitely.
Yeah,
While
well,
it's on stack.
okay. Well, from where I am, we only share information and gather information from all around the world. So what I can tell you is that the whole month of May is going to be a great party. You guys start in May 1st. We support you because it's a holiday there. We can't strike on a holiday, but we will be supporting you. There are plans in the Netherlands to wear red that day and make noise because of you on the 1st of May. Then on the 12th of May, it's a Saturday, there will be a rally. We hope it's a rally all around the world. On the 15th of May, there is a transition day. So you do whatever you want. In Athens, for example, there will be a group huge agora from the 5th to the 15th of May talking about options like a non-currency world, or what if we all migrate to the countryside and start from zero, and what if we create our own calendar, day zero, year zero of the new era, probably. just for signing our letters. I will do that. And from the 17th to the 19th of May, Frankfurt, which is the capital of the Troika, because the central bank is there and other main buildings are there, is going to do their share. So either you can stay at home and support your action at home, or you can travel to Greece and Frankfurt and Madrid to celebrate the anniversary of the movement. There is going to be a party everywhere, that's for sure. And we are all together, and now we are connected.
Yes, we are, and we'll build more connections. I love the in it seems like in our country we don't say like we're looking to May Day and it's going to be a big action, a big protest, and all that. But it too could be a party. It's like a positive outpouring, gathering support. So it doesn't always have to have negative connotations. And I think I like that about you. You look at it as a festive, to some degree, a festive celebration of action of the people. It sounds like, and I find
And
that
it
very
should
positive.
be, yeah, well, it should be, guys, because after October 15th, the movement grew. And imagine how it's going to be after May. We are going to be even closer.
It's true.
So it's just, it's like it will start over again and better because we have experience, we are prepared, and we are together. We are one heart. So it's like, yes, I would make a party because it's the party that I am striking with people like 50, I don't know, 30,000 miles away from me. And I know that you are going to be thinking about us because we are going to be thinking about you. It's going to be great.
It's going to be outstanding. Aqua
Yes.
asked if the Spanish activists are organizing with the other European countries. Like, do you guys actively interface with the other European countries?
Yes, we try. Actually, this week we're going to have a direct democracy workshop at Mumble between Bulgarian and German activists. If you want to join, probably a girl from Los Angeles is going to join. We try a lot, and today for me, Saturday, we are going to have the international meeting for putting together our plans for May, and everybody in the US is also invited. So we are closer because these people, started marching from my town, for example. They went to Madrid, and from Madrid they went on foot to Brussels. So on that way, they created the Europe that was never created, but the euro, the currency. We didn't have a real Europe and before the movement. Now the movement is creating that Europe, and these people from Madrid to Brussels, then from Brussels to Athens that are working, they are creating that sense of one continent and people that feel the same. So we are together now.
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And that leads to the follow-up question. What are your observations and the Spanish people's feelings about the European Union?
The normal Spanish people never believed in European Union, and now today I signed a petition that is asking my government to opt out from the euro.
Excellent.
So that Europe doesn't exist anymore. The Europe that we are creating will probably be something.
Yeah.
It's a new Europe created, with people that are walking for us, left behind everything, or are cycling now for us.
So we have a question from another chatter. Are you able to talk about the future strategies of the Spanish movement, or do you kind of keep that, closely
Yeah,
wrapped.
because the police is,
Yeah.
especially. I already told the future strategies.
Uh,
The debt.
right.
We only 16% of the money that Spain owes comes from public expenditures. The other 80% plus belongs to what the banks owe to whatever they did, because the money never got to the street. So that is important. That money is not that is not our debt. We don't owe that money to Germany. We are not going to pay it. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. A big,
It's a pretty
that's
strong
serious thing.
statement, but it's sort of in keeping with the Greeks' actions. We will not pay their movement there for the same purposes, because it's been leveraged by the banks and the economic system. So that makes
And we know where the money can come from, actually, because we have another action. We are not paying, but we are not saying that Spain shouldn't pay.
right.
So if Spain gives up all the expenditure in military, whatever they do, because it's not, we are not in war with anyone. Why do we spend that much money in in arms, in
Right.
weapons?
Exactly. I mean,
So that money can go to pay whatever they want.
that's true. It's a matter of choices. You're such a bright,
Yes.
and articulate
It's not me,
spokesperson.
it's not me. It's a huge amount of people who are thinking this, and
Yeah.
we are putting things together.
What's like the little old men down at our country store? They know that too. They said there's plenty of money. We're just spending it the wrong way. I
Yes.
was wondering if you could share a little bit, and I was recalling our conversation earlier about the community you live in personally, and that it's in a area that's miners, and which is quite similar to our southern Appalachians, and which are heavily populated with like coal mines and stuff, and how they respond to you, because you said something that was so touching. That's like and I want you to get into the story a little bit, but that they're supportive because they know you are working for them and speaking for them. Did I misstate?
Well, more or less. No, well, I told you that we were going to be okay
Uh-huh.
because they are strong people. Because they come from families that have suffered a lot, and no, well, people is it's supportive because we are going to do things for them, but that's not the way it should be. People should be doing things for their own, on their own, because I have to take care of myself and learn to take care of myself, and people should be taking care of their own. I like their support,
Right.
but
Well, I always
that's
like
not
to
the
say,
way.
somebody has to go first. So maybe by
Yes.
taking that first step, then people will agree, and or even if they don't agree, they can understand the value, and then they'll take their steps, and then that's how momentum will build.
Yes, they should. They should. I hope they have to see us working, things working, and that is why we have to share a lot, because if we show them that what you Americans are doing, maybe they like those ideas more than other ideas coming from other places,
Hmm.
and they will take them. Why
Hmm.
not?
Right,
That is why
exactly.
we have to, share more information.
Yeah, we have to offer it up, and everybody can use what they can and what they will. It's like a
Yes,
giveaway. It's a giveaway for the betterment of everybody. Um,
yes.
TARP asked if the law passes making organizing online illegal, will there be an internet boycott?
That's up to Anonymous, I guess. What we are working is creating our own internet, because they at some point they will have to cut it, like they did in Birmania
Right.
2 years ago. So we have to create our own internet. I hope you guys are also doing that, preparing that.
We talk about alternative communications all the time because you have to expect it's going to come, right? I mean, it's just
Yes.
preparedness. Are the
Yes.
Spanish activists interacting with South American activists?
We try. We try, and we have meetings on Tuesdays at 9. And well, we don't use Mumble. We use another platform called Talk.
Uh-huh.
And well, if you can see the newsletter, we are publicizing their actions for May as well there, and the way they think is really touching. Please try to reach the message from Argentina, from La Plata.
Okay.
My advice, personal advice.
Yeah. And that's in the links we got from you, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in the newsletter. Well, I will paste it again if you want.
No, I think we have it, but and if not, I can forward it out to the channel. See if your house is gonna start. So we're talking about that. I would like you. Do you guys use the N1 platform?
N-1.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do use it, and could you describe that a little bit?
Well, N-1 is like a Facebook or an Occupy. And the thing about this is that it's hosted by Loria. Loria hosts WikiLeaks. That is why we chose it, because those are safe servers.
Right.
They have just migrated to a safer place. So if the law from any government wants those files, they are not going to be to have access to them.
Yep.
Because they are covered by other laws.
Right.
That is why we use N-1.
Oh, okay, that's good. I wasn't even aware of that, and I found it to be really intriguing and a very good idea. And I think you guys are a little bit more aware of digital security in your interactions than we tend to be, but we're learning really fast.
Yes.
Well,
you have a team, a really good team.
Yeah.
The Occupy Dev guys, I love them.
Oh yeah, the Occupy.org and all those, man, it's great. Do you feel like continuing, or are you getting tired?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Because there are many questions. Yes, please keep on.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to
Yep.
if you are guys at the chat ready, we can go.
You guys have some questions you can toss up there while I'm getting the next piece of paper out. Safe server, as we talked about. If there's no questions, I'm going to forge ahead. I want to, no, I want Ternura, she's being nice. She's up in the middle of the night, and I want to use her time effectively. Okay, do you want to speak a little bit about Mumble? I know you're very active there, and, I don't participate a lot, but I watch it and listen to it a little bit. Could you just kind of say how you feel like that is as far as a communication platform and the value you find in it?
No, it reaches now. You didn't miss me. Here I am. Guys, why do I use Mumble and I don't use Skype for communicating with people? Because Mumble is an open source software.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, and we said that we were going to try to use open source, and if you have to choose, you use open source. Okay, Mumble doesn't look so pretty as Skype, but you can communicate with more people because in order to have multi-conferences in Skype, you will have to pay.
Right.
In Mumble, it's free. And Skype sucks up all the memory from your computer, mm-hmm. So you can do many things at once. With Mumble, that doesn't happen.
Yep.
Another advantage, you were saying, Mark?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The other advantage is that there is really nice people in Mumble now, and the Meet Occupy sessions and the roundtable are amazing. So it's you will meet a lot of nice people there that is waiting for you at Occupy Talk.
Right, and a lot of
Black guys
really smart and helpful people. I know they've helped us with some technical issues before. I know
all the time.
you yourself are on there. A lot of our people participate on it, and it's been a very good experience for me. And I find as a whole, the people who participate in Mumble as a group are really pleasant, intelligent, friendly, articulate people. I really
Yes.
actually enjoy that.
Well,
And being able to talk to
that
people
we
all over
try.
the world simultaneously. I'm gonna look at my
So,
other little questions. What is the one of the biggest lessons you've learned as working
uh-huh.
with part of the movement?
Oh, that question, I was waiting for it. Um, I learned first that this economic crisis, it doesn't exist really. There is only crisis for people who um, misunderstand a living standard with a consumerist standard, if you know what I mean. Because there is no crisis really for people who can use both hands and start working from zero. Imagine if we lost everything because I don't know, the Halley comet would fall into the earth. We will have to start from zero now, and we can. So there is no crisis here. They want us to think that is an economic crisis, to make us fear and manipulate us. That's what I think.
That's a
Another
good
thing,
point and a
yes.
good lesson.
Well, everybody has their own opinion. I learned this because we say in Spain, the crisis of the rich, we are not going to pay it because it's their crisis. The poor never had a crisis because never had anything. Why do they have to pay now? Which crisis? No crisis. So I also learned that there is a huge need for empower ourselves more. And within the movement, the problem is that we don't even know what voting means because the value of your vote depends on where you live in the U.S. or in the world. And if you don't vote, also has an impact, and you don't know that.
Right.
And why are you here if you don't know, or if voting or not voting, who you vote or whatever, how things are going to work? You have to learn even that, and what you consume, what you buy, where it comes from, everything. You have to be aware of that as well. And we are learning through channels like this one.
It all comes back to
And
raising awareness.
raising awareness, of course, because well, I love it when I see these emails. There are people who within the movement who close their email saying, "Send." They don't say "Send from my iPhone." T-Mobile is the best. Nothing. Sent from a corporate mobile, because I admit it. I admit it. It's a corporate mobile. Whatever. It's just like that. I'm using it. Whatever.
Right,
So we
exactly.
have to admit it.
Well, and
And another thing, sorry,
go
sorry.
ahead. No, I'm sorry.
One thing that I heard yesterday that, and also clearly heard it, the system is not broken. The system works perfectly and it doesn't need to be fixed because the system, like, started, I don't know, 1,000 years ago, maybe earlier, is designed to divide people between the haves and the don't haves. And it's working. We are divided. So we need to break with this system and start our own system. That's it.
Yeah, I like that. The whole doing it all ourselves again and do it correctly this time and not abdicate our power and our responsibility and our accountability. Um, a couple of
Total.
questions. Aqua's interested in finding out if you guys work with the Chileans any, and that he's referencing a Chilean woman, Carmen Carmela Viejo?
Camela. Well, I don't know her. Well, it's because I've been here for the last 12 years,
Okay.
living in Spain. So I'm sorry. I will look for her, though.
And somebody's asking, have you read Naomi Klein's The Shock Doctrine, the book The Shock Doctrine?
I saw the movie.
You saw the
I
movie?
saw the movie.
Good enough.
Yeah, well, it's because it works like that. So it was, yeah, at least somebody did it. I admire her.
Okay, I'm going to start the chat back up. So I just needed to pause the chat so I could catch any questions. They were starting to fly by. While we're waiting for a few more things to come up, what do you think the biggest challenge Occupy is? And let's think about it in the worldwide context, because you have a pretty good international view. So what is the biggest challenge the movement faces internationally, in your opinion?
It's ourselves. You know it. As you see, I grabbed a tiny bit of international insight. I saw that we are all the same humans, and we lack of the same things, and we lost things in these 2 or 3 generations that we have to recover. But don't say that to them. That is for us, within the movement. We have to empower ourselves and, learn to listen other people and relearn skills that we lost. If we talk about outside the movement, the challenge of the movement, I would say that we have to go for it, like end with corporate personhood at once, and that's it. But how we do that? We don't have the power to change laws, but we have the power when we consume, when we buy things. Do we keep, going to assemblies, drinking? We take our Coca-Cola and our Pizza Hut and for dinner and go to assemblies. Where do we buy our soap, our blankets, our toilet paper? Is it recycled paper? Because those things are more important than any I don't know, campaign or blockage to the door of a corporation. Everything we buy is one vote supporting them more important than anything we could say in the internet about them. If we hate Coca-Cola, why do we drink Coca-Cola? That's it.
That's true. That's true. Oh, that, such a astute observation, and I liked the idea that you placed the context inside and outside the movement. So inside we work on ourselves, outside we work to break the corporate personhood, and it's 2 jobs at once that need to be done, and that was so well spoken. But
But it's easy because if you stop using, you stop feeding the corporations within your house, you are doing your job inside and you are doing your job outside. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not it. It's difficult. Okay.
Well, that's
it's
part of it.
Impossible.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a really big, there's a lot.
And you
of
go
it.
to your moms and tell her what to buy and what not to buy. Come on, do it. I challenge you to go to your moms and tell her not to buy.
Yeah. Well, I went to my mom and told her we got to move your money out of Bank of America. So we did. She listened. She's a good mother, right?
Oh, great.
Aqua's asking about Mondragon. Does that help in the corporate model? I'm not familiar with that. Mondragon?
Which one? Mondragon.
Yeah.
Mondragon Corporation sounds me a lot. What do we do? What do they do? Well, like everybody. Yeah. Mondragon. I for sure I have heard about it.
Any more questions from? Is there? Oh, Monsanto. Oh. We hate Monsanto.
People don't know where the GMOs come from here. Now they more or less wonder, but the word Monsanto, not yet. It was like Monsanto is a great company 5 years ago, but now nothing about Monsanto, not good or bad.
Yeah.
They are just keeping the profile low
Right.
here in Europe.
Well, we've done 2 shows on Monsanto. They're in the archives, so you can share those with your people. You know, of course, they're all in English, but we've done 2 shows with the Organic Consumers Association person on Monsanto and GMOs. So it was really eye-opening. I mean, every time we do an interview, it just is mind-blowing. You know, because you're finding out all this information that we don't know about because nobody tells you, right? And then we have people like yourself or people like Bob Klein, people who are involved every day, and they're telling you the truth. They're telling you the facts. And then you go, oh, well, see, this is no good. We have to do something about this. So that's why I think the interviews are very important and help inform and educate us and share that knowledge. I think we can probably...
This question here.
Okay.
Wait a second, just this question. The environmental movement closely allied with the Indignados. Yes, I would like to point out that the environmental activists occupy. And that is good somehow because they have experience and I like it. My people, for example, the first thing I joined was the work group of environmental actions. I had to quit because I was busy in communications. And we do an open version of the story of staff that you should watch. I will try to get the video to you. It's in Spanish, of course, and we adapt the story to the. They want to build garbage furnace here. So we roll the story of Anne Leonard around that, and it's lovely. You will enjoy it a lot.
Excellent.
That's what I
wanted
wanted
to
say.
me, and I'll share it with the group. And you can now that you know where our channel is, you can post anytime. Just drop in, and because we love to stay in touch with our peeps. Do you have anything else that you would like to speak to or talk about? I'm pretty much have gone through all my questions and. Zena wants to know if there's fracking for natural gas in Spain. No. Do you know what that is?
No, there is no. No, we go and kill people. Spain, there is no oil in Spain. So what the Spanish companies do is to pay, I don't know, snipers to kill people in Colombia in order to get their oil. I don't know if that's worse than fracking. You tell me.
It's equally as bad, if not worse. It's unbelievable. I can't believe I've never heard that before, but that's astonishing. But I believe it 100%.
I could bring to this channel people telling their own stories of their families. I have been with people that would tell me, 2 weeks ago, I lost one comrade from this social this association for human rights, and we know that he has been killed by Shell. That Shell paid people to kill them, just like that.
I don't doubt it. It's just evil. Is evil is what it is.
Yeah, but we are going to jail, Mark. You and I, for doing this that we are doing. But those people are not going to jail.
That's true.
So we are the terrorists.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud to share that with you and all these people.
Yes.
It's the only way we're going to change this world. And we may not. I think you and I talked about this. We may not do it in our lifetime. This is a long battle that we're on the front end of. But we have to do it because that's what needs to be done. There is no other choice.
It can take generations, but we are here. And I prefer, and I chose doing this than, watching TV and ignoring all this.
Right. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the group? Anything specific you would like to talk about?
I would like to What outcome do you see coming from this movement in the near future? A celebration, that depends a lot of us. We can do greatest things, or we can just dissolve. I think it depends on that responsibility lies in you and me as well. Whatever we can do, if we choose to go home, for example, tomorrow or next week, we would never know what's going on, what will be. So every day is day zero
Every day
for
is day
me,
zero.
for example.
It's
Yes,
another day to get it right and to try to make it
yeah,
right.
that's it. Yeah. I wanted to ask guys, how, people in the US, how do you see the movement in Spain? First, in Spain.
You guys want to answer that out? I mean, I can speak to my perception of it, and they could chime in. Um, I watch, what I can find from Spain, and we actually have some American activists over there helping to set up live streaming, and we we seem it looks and feels like to me that the Spanish resistance is more active in the streets, and that there's some it feels like there's some distinct difference between the way the police engage with you guys versus the way the police engages with us. But you earlier related that the police are aggressive and they beat you, and so that kind of runs counter to the vision that I had. But we think you guys are, I mean, I think you guys are more active than us. You have more people on the ground. You have more people in the streets. Your protests seem to be visibly larger on a given day. That's what it looks like from what we see.
Well, that is really amazing because that's what it looks like from my end. Uh, It's
Why do you think
really
that is?
amazing
I
because
mean,
you always see the lawn of the neighborhood is always greener and fresher.
um, they, that's an interesting thing because we're both seeing the other side, and we both have the same perception of the other side,
Yeah.
but
And
our
the way
own
they treat the
perception of our
people
own
in
side is
Oakland.
different. The grass is
Yeah.
always greener.
Yeah, the grass is always greener
Yeah.
there, always.
So we,
And you are more people. You are the 99%. So I'm not saying that you will lead the movement, but obviously for the media, whatever Occupy Wall Street does is going in the front page. Whatever Spain does is always in the back page.
Mhm.
That's it. So please, whenever you think an action or whatever you do, you are doing it on behalf of the whole movement. That's a fact. It's not that I'm giving you all my power and my decisions to you, or you are deciding to do things for me. It's the way people outside the movement sees things. You have a great responsibility in that. Please make good use.
Oh, thank you for saying that. That was my favorite thing. That was beautifully said. We have a great responsibility, and we all owe it to each other to live up to that responsibility and to transcend our differences and to build bridges and to come together. Um, and
Yeah.
that's what it brings to mind another question. I'm sorry, I could go on forever, but how
Me as
how
well.
do you find that your people work together? Do they work together well, or is there divisiveness and challenges? And you sort of spoke to that when we were talking about the assemblies. About how the assembly agrees on something, but then when it comes time to work, only a few people work. But just in general, are your meetings contentious? Are your actions contentious, or do you guys cooperate really good?
It's interesting. When things are calm and a relationship with the police is relaxed, we start arguing with each other and we think our action and my opinion is more important and more smart than yours. But when we are under the pressure of the police, we are all brothers and sisters, and we love each other, and we will do whatever you tell me because we have no choice. I think it's natural behavior.
Yeah.
When we have the defenses down, we are really nice people. But when we have, a little bit more room to move around, we start being the nicest. We start behaving like what is the name of that colorful bird? Peacock.
Peacocks.
Yes, we hide the peacock sometimes, but whenever we have the time to take the peacock outside, woof.
Oh, that's wonderful. I swear, I want you to just come talk to us every day.
Well, I want to talk to every one of you, like I would like to sit on the other side of the chat and have you here.
Yeah, well, we would love to be here. Do our people in the chat? You can see they want to keep you, and you're making it's the same effect you had on me.
Thank you. Come on. No, it's you. It is all you. I'm telling you.
Well,
it's not me.
It's us. It's us and it's we, and we need to speak in that kind of language and be inclusive of each other. And I'm so grateful to know you and to be part of this with you. And I want to thank you for coming tonight. If there's any other questions, let's throw them up here. I know Zena is co-producing and broadcasting to the Spanish language chat, and I don't have that open, so I don't know how many people we have viewing there, but I want to thank Zena for doing that. And for Amigos and his son, which I don't know Amigos' son's name, but they did all the translating tonight of our conversation. And so we really appreciate that. I know that was a lot of work. I want to thank Don and Clearly for helping to put this together, and Don for moderating, and Clearly for doing all the linkage, and Sue for helping keep the questions corralled. We're all a team. There's 5 of us that work this channel,
and you are doing magic
and like
here.
everybody else, we have our ups and downs and our problems and all that, but we muddle through, and then we get this beautiful experience that we've had with you, and I am so grateful for it, and you are so generous to give us your time and
well, I've been dreaming of this. I've been dreaming of this a lot of time. On May 28th, I recorded a 20-second video saying that, I will tell it. Welcome, guys, to the Spanish Revolution. You are also in the U.S. part of this Spanish Revolution because it's a matter of changing your lifestyle. And that's it. It's a great responsibility, and it's difficult to change your lifestyle. But if you manage to, you are part as well of the Spanish Revolution.
Well, thank you so much for that. And I just got a note that ran by that said Amigos' son's name is Miguel. Miguel, thank you so much for being part of this and participating into translating and being part of OPN. And Miguel and Amigos actually live in Mexico, so we got all kinds of international stuff going on here tonight.
Yes.
So it's been a really gratifying experience.
I hope we keep in touch. You can, email me or tweet me whatever you need, and I also would like to have the opportunity to share information with all of you.
Oh, absolutely, and we would love to have you back anytime you want to come on. You just let me know, and we'll put a show together. Even if it's just, if you have something you want to get out to the world, a little 15-minute thing or something, or you want to do a presentation, let me know, and we will absolutely put you up.
Yes.
We will be glad to do
I
it.
would like to bring somebody new. Always somebody new is better. But somebody to put, like 5 days before May 15th, like you already had your party, and we are about to have our party, and we would have to merge both sides of the. It would be great. Let's think about it.
Well, let's plan on doing something like that. I'll be in touch with you, and we'll come up with a plan, And if you have somebody else you want to bring on, that will be great.
Oh, yes, many people actually.
Anything
So,
we can do, anything we can do to help build bridges and make
yes,
connections.
that's the spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
And
just so the
keep me
chatters
in.
are all catching it,
Mm-hmm.
we put all your links on this riseup.net pad, so you can share that with anybody you want to. It's publicly accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I love.
we'll look forward to doing a show before the 15th. And we'll do it after May
Yay.
1st and before May 15th. It'll be wonderful.
It would be great. So we have an appointment now.
Yes, we do. And we'll talk much before then, I'm sure.
Yes, please.
Okay, well,
So
thank you
keep
so
doing
much. And
well. Thank you very much. Mwah.
tell
Everybody,
Mr.
I love you.
Ternura that we said thank you for letting us have you in the middle of the night. We love you so much, dear.
Thank you
Have a
for
good
having
sleep.
me. Mwah.
Good night.
You as well. Goodbye. I have to say. Mwah. Bye bye.
Okay, so give me a sec, and I'm going to archive this, and then I'll be back on, all right? So if you just want to hang on a second, I'll be back in just a moment.